Okay, where's this video you want to watch? Pluto, you big dummy. Slash user Pluto, who's got 999 messages.
In Final Fantasy XIV, you've got a bunch of jobs to choose from. And I already made a video talking about that. The problem is, now everything is different.
Spoilers,
so
by the way.
here I am again with all of the Shadowbringers
now
jobs
I know this
to
fight
help
goes down.
you pick what you want to play. You've got your tanks, including one new guy. They're the ones fearlessly charging headfirst into danger's way.
This guy's cool. I want a gun sword? Like Squall?
And luckily, Shadowbringers made that even more straightforward. Simply turn your tank stance on, and you are now tanking. Turn it off, and you aren't. Wow. Speaking of danger, these are the healers. Always be nice to them. You don't want to know what happens when they get angry.
Dude, this game is pretty beautiful, man.
Shadowbringers gave the healers a super special power big heal mode. The melee DPS are here to cry about mechanics that keep them away from the boss. So, in Shadowbringers, they gave the melee 2 free I don't need positional anymore buttons, but they still complain. And these are the casters. They go big shooty boom boom magic round with, except any loss of DPS, and they've got boom booms.
Ooh, this guy.
Ranged can run.
This guy. I want to play this guy. Who's he? He's got a rifle. Who goes into a machinist? Hey, can I start? It's level 50? Bro, why?
Run around without any loss of DPS, and they've got a new friend who everybody loves. Except the other ranged. Anyway, let's go look at the jobs. Dark Knight. It uses a big-ass sword. Play this job.
So some of these classes I just unlock at a certain level, then I can start playing them, essentially. Do I have to start at level 1 with them, or do they start at level 52? Not level 1, thank the Lord.
Want to use a big-ass sword. It's got a special stance you got to keep up, obviously called the dark side. You keep this up by using Edge of Shadow and Flood of Shadow, of course. And you can even reach inside your soul and take out your inner darkness, and he can fight along with you. And it's got a special mode, Delirium, where you can spam heavy-hitting attacks like Blood Spiller or Quietus, which otherwise would cost Blood Gauge. Yeah, it's got a blood gauge. For mitigation, it has the Blackest Night, which is a shield you put on yourself and lets you use a blood gauge ability for free
that's
if it
cool
breaks.
looking.
And its invincibility is called Living Dead, which you activate it first, and then you have to die.
Okay, we're not taking any handouts in this game.
You're walking dead, and you're actually kind of not
a
dead,
single handout.
Somebody has to heal you up to full, otherwise
making that choice before we start this time.
These guys were the personal guards of Queen Gunilda.
These guys
herself.
are cool,
Who is
man.
That? I don't know. Gunbreaker is what you would get if you wanted to play a tank, but you also were like, I really like DPS. It's got a 3-part combo, but it actually has a separate 3-part combo inside of another 3-part combo. It kind of makes sense. It has a powder gauge with cartridges in it. The regular combo will earn you cartridges, and
dude,
then you can
cool.
spend the cartridges in order to do the special 1-2-3 combo. So it's very clicky. It's a very clicky, fun job. Its invincibility.
I'm a huge fan of like the Squall FF8 like opener. You know what I mean?
Because if I hurt myself, the enemies can't hurt me.
Like the trailer.
Paladin. It's got a sword and a shield.
Hell yeah.
Paladin is to be protection itself. Paladin is really good at party utility and helping your friends not die. It's got a physical damage phase and a magical damage phase. During your physical phase, you've got a damage buff, and then you've got a dot combo, and then a regular combo that will unlock a heavy hitting attack called
they made Paladin look kind of cool.
And this you can use 3 times in a row. Then you go into your magical phase, where you can attack at ranged with heavy hitting magic attacks, and a big AoE attack again, Confiteor. You've got the wings to protect your entire party. You can also heal yourself or heal a target, and its invincibility is Hollowed Ground, which just makes you straight up invincible. You can't get hurt. Warrior, it smashes. It's got an axe, and it smashes with the axe. Warrior doesn't care about mitigating damage. They're just all about, hit me anyway. I can take it. Just hit me. It's got 2 combos. One that applies a damage buff, and one that builds its wrath gauge more. It's got a special mode, Inner Release, that allows it to spam the heavy hitting attacks like Fell Cleave or Decimate. Both the single target and AoE
this class looks
can
fucking
be
sick.
enhanced when you first use Infuriate to augment them. Warrior is all about building up the gauge so you can use it on attacks to just smash more. It's got a fun mitigation.
I don't
want to
play Mage. I don't want to play Rage anymore.
But then you just slap them right back. Or it can increase its HP even more because above 100k health isn't enough. Its invincibility is called Home Gang, where you tether to an enemy and now your HP can't go below 1. Samurai. They wield a katana and offer 0 party utility besides their big damage. Samurai's core rotation works around 3 separate combos. Each time you finish a combo, you earn a sticker, or otherwise known as a sen. You spend these sen on powerful iaijutsu moves, and the move changes depending on how many
I feel like this
stickers
is
you
going to be
have
like
when
a high
you use
skill
it.
cap
If
one.
you use it with 1,
It
you
looks
get a
cool
dot.
though.
With 2, you get an AoE attack in front of you, and with 3, you get a heavy-hitting single-target attack. It also has another resource called Kenki that you build up and you use on heavy-hitting
Brainless?
attacks.
Really? It's
you notice
not?
a lot
It
of
looks
these are
like-
heavy-hitting
okay.
attacks. It's because all of Samurai's attacks do it. Shadowbringers gave Samurai even more big attacks, like Shoha, an attack you can only use when you gather up 3 meditate stacks. It also has 2 separate AoE combos and overall flows very well from one combo to the next, building up your resources and
cool.
spending them.
Dude,
Monk.
Samurai's dope.
These guys are all about throwing away the weapons, and instead, your body is the weapon. Monk has 2 combos. Sounds straightforward? It is. But each one of those has a positional requirement. Every single one. All the other melees only have a handful
Sounds
of
straightforward?
positions.
It
Monk
is.
takes that and says, I want all of them. Shadowbringers also gave Monk a 4th Grease Lightning stack, which makes them attack even faster and harder than before. It builds up a resource called Chakra that it can use on a single target attack or a ranged attack, and other buffs that mostly work around its 2
That's
separate
kinda cool.
combos. It does really high damage but still offers some party utility with a physical damage buff to the party. Dragoon. It uses a spear. They kill dragons, and the reason why they're so sharp is because even if a dragon eats them, they can still kill the dragon on the way out. Dragoon also has 2 combos, but instead these are longer combos. Most of the other physical jobs in the game are 3-part combos. Dragoon is 5. It's a very static rotation that you're going to do one combo and then the other combo, and you're always going to stick to that, but it has a whole lot of off global cooldowns that you're going to use in between them to keep it interesting. It centers around keeping up a buff called Blood of the Dragon. However, when you collect 2 Eyes of the Dragon and you activate Ger Skogul, you unlock Life of the Dragon, where you glow red instead, and you unlock even more powerful heavy-hitting attacks, including Star Diver. It's got a bunch of different jump
That's cool.
attacks that range from jumping to the opponent and back to where you were, or jumping over to the opponent, or jumping away completely, or off the edge. Dragoon offers some cool party utility, like a crit buff to everybody, and it can tether to a friend and give their pal an extra damage buff. Ninja. Do you know Naruto? Well, me either. Ninja's got a really cool mechanic called ninjutsu. You have 3 ninjutsu abilities, which, depending on the order you push them in, will change the attack that it performs.
That's fucking.
You have things
that would
like an
blow my
attack
mind.
speed buff, or an AoE on the ground that looks like dirt. Shadowbringers added a cool effect where you can augment some of the ninjutsu abilities. If you use Kasatsu before activating them,
It's huge
it'll
brain,
change
yeah.
your fire breath into a huge
You're like literally
fire
doing
tornado,
fucking
or it'll
ninjutsus and
change your
shit. It's like,
ice
oh shit,
breath
wrong one!
into water shurikens, like
fucked up my
Greninja.
signals.
You also can tap into your secret Hokage arts and activate Bunshin,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
will be a
I
shadow
remember
of
seeing this.
yourself, and it will mimic every attack that you do. It's also got a really good party buff called Trick Attack, which will make the target take extra damage from the entire party. Ninja has a lot of interesting mechanics to its toolkit that goes beyond just simple combos, but you might have to devote an extra brain cell to remembering what ninjutsu does what. Machinist is what you would get if you combined a cowboy with a Gundam with a Terminator. This is the ranged with the highest damage and the one with the least amount of RNG in the rotation. And I don't really have to say any more about it because you can summon a frickin' mech. And while you're doing all of your attacks, you're overheating, you go into your overheat
Nobody
gauge,
asked,
you're
but I
spamming
love
your cool
Black
abilities
Mage.
that give you your
Also,
cooldowns back,
just
and you're
started
hitting
Deso.
buttons like a
This
frickin'
questing is
man, and
nothing
your
WDF.
mech is over there
Too
punching
many
shit.
quests.
Oh, and you have a flamethrower. Need I say
a
more,
hunter.
really? I mean, for AoE, you got some other cool stuff like overheat and will now actually be a crossbow instead. You got a drill that you shoot out like a Giga Drill Breaker, and you have a special button that makes it guarantee it crits. All of your regular combo is now superheated mode always. This job is all about balancing your battery gauge and your heat gauges to use all of your cool special boom explodey powers. Bard. This is the job with the bow and arrow. Every MMO has one. This is ours. And not only can you shoot arrows, you can also sing songs and help your party members do things. And its rotation is in the middle ground of a static rotation with an RNG rotation. It cycles through 3 different song modes, and each song has a different effect on your rotation. Mostly
you guys
you're
bored of
keeping
bards
your
or what?
dots up and spamming burst shot for procs on refulgent arrow. You've also got a new gauge called the soul gauge, which is used on apex arrow, and it does more damage the higher the gauge is. For utility, you've got stuff like a heal buff or damage buff or remove a bad thing on somebody, and of course a party damage reduction. Dancer.
I know you can
This
have
is
all
the
one
new
class
guy.
solo character.
It
Just trying to
uses
figure out where I want to
chakrams
start.
that it throws around and
I
kills
guess
its
Lancer
enemies
is kind of
with
sort of
belly
where we're at,
dancing.
huh?
It has the lowest personal DPS,
Unless some caster
but
kinda,
it
like,
can
catches my
super
attention.
buff its dance partner. It has 2 separate dances, and when you activate one, you go through steps like a Simon Says game. Standard step will be an AoE attack and
Negative on the dancer.
and for
Just-
magic
okay.
stick, it has 3 separate dashes that it can use. Black Mage, it uses a magic stick and explosions and a whole lot more explosions. This is the magic version of the selfish DPS class and specializes in longer cast times that deal super high damage with the trade-off that you're trying to minimize your overall movement. Black Mage's rotation goes through an ice phase where it regenerates mana and a fire phase where it spends all of its mana on the really heavy hitting attacks.
about
Shadowbringers
this
added
class,
a
chat?
finisher to the fire phase called Despair. Black Mage has a continuous damage buff you want to keep up called Enochian, which allows you to use the heavier hitting spells, and if you have it up long enough, it unlocks a special void looking attack called Xenoglossy.
Hard to
There's
play?
now also a way to
We don't
keep
want
your
hard to
ice
play.
phase up during downtime.
We don't want hard to
Summoner.
play,
It uses
'cause we
a
suck.
book,
How about a
but
summoner?
it's not trying to be smart with it. It's mostly picture books. Summoner is our pet DPS job. There's Ifrit for single target, Garuda for AoE, and Titan for Summoner's rotation works on a 2-minute cycle
I've
of
seen this
various
part before.
phases
Okay.
that you go
Negative
through.
on
There's
Summoner.
Dread
Way too big brain.
Runner is
Damn
or
it.
this is casting job with cast for it. Red Mage. It uses a sword with a focus thing attached to it. This is the job that combines black magic and white magic together in order to do magic casting
Is
while
this big brain?
also doing physical damage as well. Red Mage is special because every other spell that it casts is instant with the dual cast trait. So you will hard cast the shorter spells and then instant cast the longer ones. You'll do this while alternating building your white and black mana, and once you have enough, you can go in for the melee combo, finishing it off with either a Verholy
What
or
level do you
Verflare
unlock
big
Red Mage
attack,
at?
and then another final big attack called Scorch. Shadowbringers also added an AoE rotation using
50?
Ver Thunder and Ver Arrow too,
Okay.
and then instant
Red Mage
casting
seems fun.
Impact. And then you have an AoE melee attack as well. Red Mage is the only DPS with a good single target heal, and it's the other DPS that can battle raise. And because of dual cast, you can instant raise people. White Mage, it uses a cane. White mages draw on the aether all around them from nature in order to do really big bursty heals or regens. As for its heals, it's very straightforward. You got Cure 1 and Cure 2 for
Oh, their
single
damage
target.
isn't very
You've
good?
got
Maybe they're just more,
Medica
like,
for
versatile?
AoE, Medica 2 for an AoE regen, and Cure 3 for a big AoE heal,
guess
but
I
very
always think in
close
PvP
around you.
ways,
In
but
Shadowbringers, they added
don't
some
really need to
instant
here.
abilities that use up lilies from the lily gauge. And when you use up 3 lilies, it unlocks a Flatus Misery, which is a huge AoE damage nuke. White Mage's oh shit ability is the wings. You sprout beautiful wings from your back, and now everybody around you takes less damage, and all of your healing is super mode. Scholar. They use a book because they're so smart, and they want everybody else to know how smart they are. Scholar specializes in shielding the party from all the damage in the first place. And it is the pet healer that we have in this game. For single target heals, you got Physic, a small single
Okay, we're not gonna play
shield
Scholar.
that fair. You could just eat
We got get towards
stuff
the
with
end.
cards on it. They flow to spend. Astrologent. It uses a globe of stuff with cards on it. They heal by looking up at the stars and planets and sparkly things. They're also able to switch between a shield mode or a regen mode.
Okay,
And
another
then there's
healer.
time. Your aspected, as well as keep in mind, you can play all of these jobs on the same character. That is the beauty of Final Fantasy.
Which is pretty crazy. Which is pretty crazy.